Hopefully soon, me and Big O can get together after the Dolphins win. Hopefully next week, it's after the Dolphins get in the playoffs. What is up, Finn fans? Very, very good conversation today. Give you a double header with me and Big O. We talk about hot seat. We talk about what happened with the Patriots game, the Jets game coming up, what's going on with the team, all that good stuff. A lot to talk about, the future of Tua, lots and lots of things. But before we jump into that, I do want to give you guys an update on Damar Hamlin. Some good news. This is from the Buffalo Bills. They said, per the physician's care for Damar Hamlin at the University of Cincinnati Medical Center, Damar has shown remarkable improvement over the past 24 hours. While still critically ill, he has demonstrated that he appears to be neurologically intact. His lungs continue to heal, and he is making steady progress. We are grateful for the love and support we have received. The doctors say Damar Hamlin asked via writing who won the game on Monday night. And the doctor responded, you won. You won life. So Damar Hamlin is up. He isn't talking. He probably has a trach in, so it helps him breathe. But he is up. He is conscious. He did hold his mother's hand, which is a good sign. He still is working through things and still progressing. But the fact that he is neurologically intact is fantastic. And his lungs continue to heal is really good. It's just the cardiac arrest that he had and his heart stopping and all that stuff. A lot of people were fearing neurological damage because if you don't have oxygen going to your brain for a certain amount of time, it can affect you neurologically. And your heart stopping, essentially everything stops, so you're not breathing and oxygen isn't going to your brain. That's why the fact of the on-the-field physicians giving him CPR was so, bravo to them, because it helped the oxygen and all that good stuff. So they're, I'm ecstatic to hear the Damar Hamlin update that he is awake. There's no neurological, he's neurologically intact. He is healing. He's showing great progress over the past 24 hours, and I think it's awesome that he wrote down who won on Monday. He cares about football a lot. So I want to give you guys that update before we jump into what me and Big O had to talk about. And I will see you guys tomorrow with the preview of the Dolphins-Jets game. I might have a video planned for you guys on Saturday, but I will definitely see you Sunday. My father will be here, 1 o'clock. Dolphins taking on the Jets. They need a win, and they need a Buffalo Bills loss. Also, if there's any updates on seeding, because there is a potential 8 team now getting into the playoffs because they're not going to play the Bills Cincinnati game. I'll give you guys an update on that. But on that, like usual, stay classy and fins up. Big O, we keep losing.
Yes.
What the heck is going on?
I mean, listen, man, it's just what could ever go wrong has gone wrong. We wonder if they're cursed. We wonder, people, they built the stadium on an Indian burial ground. Well, half the games are on the road, first of all. And the Marlins have won two championships in that same building. So, it's not like the spirits of the former folks there are saying, we hate football. We don't mind baseball. We don't mind the F1. We don't mind tennis. It's like, there's a lot of things that have gone on there. So it's just I can't explain it, man. It's so frustrating. And, the strange part is, Doug, you've known me for a few years. I haven't really bought into the Dolphins for a long time, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like for a long time, I usually tell people the last time I told them they would make the playoffs was the year of Jamie Nails. Because I saw him running the ball, and I saw, back then they actually hit in camp, by the way. I forgot about that. That's when I was a beat guy. They actually used to tackle and used to have what's it called? What's that short yardage drill that they have? Inside drill,
Mm-hmm.
It was like right from the get-go, all that kind of stuff. Because once they kind of picked up from Jimmy and he had, tough practices, and I saw that they were, and Jamie Nails was moving and all that. And I said, okay, guys, they're going to make the playoffs this year. And sure enough, they were able to sneak into the playoffs. But normally, more often than not, over the last 20 years, I've told you, yeah, this is not a good team, whatever, this, that. We had the Sperano years that, surprised us, and the Gase year surprised us. I
Mhm.
didn't predict those, but this is where I bought this.
Mhm.
I bought it all hook, line, and sinker. And guess what? Guess what, Dolphin Nation? I'm not stopping. I'm buying. They're just freaking injured all over the place. They
Mm.
just get no breaks, dude.
No. No.
And then to add insult to injury, they can't find a quarterback since Marino. They finally find one that can actually pass the hell out of the ball. He's accurate, and he can't stay healthy.
Nope.
And that, that just adds to the frustrations of the Dolphin Nation. It's like, okay, we can't find a quarterback, but then when the boys find one, the kid can't stay healthy. And it's just, I have no answers. I
Mm.
have no answers, but I am convinced that this team is not as bad as it's been during this
Yeah, no,
streak.
I agree. I
We're
agree.
completely healthy.
Mhm.
I'm talking about completely healthy. Even Byron, I'm not interested in the Dolphins, more interested in my Portia Jones. Even if you had that and everything, I think this team would have already been in the
Oh, yeah.
playoffs.
Number 1
You know
seed.
what I'm saying? So I'm still drinking the freaking Kool-Aid as bad as things are right now because I like Mike McDaniel. Does he have, some chinks in the armor? Yeah, dude,
Mhm.
there's some issues with him as a coach that, he's got to tweak, but overall he's one of the guys that I've liked the most, overall over the last few years. And I do believe in Tua as a player. My concern has always been with
Yeah.
Tua even before he got drafted. My
Mhm.
problem with him was his injuries.
Yep.
Always. But once they drafted him, I said, okay, well, we got to put the injury stuff aside. I tried to tell Dolphin Nation, forget about all the FUD out there.
Mhm.
This kid can play the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. His problem is durability, and that's always been the legitimate concern of Tua Tagovailoa. That's it.
Mhm.
Not short, not arm strength, none of that stuff. Doug, I can't answer. I have no answers for what's going on. I just feel like it's just this black cloud that has hung over us all season long from the owners
Yeah.
screwing the team over from first and third round picks to
Mhm.
Byron Jones not reporting. Like those should have been signs already right there.
Yeah.
Those should have been the signs right there. Like, yo, hey, Dolphin, slow down. You can't have anything. No, no, no. We're not allowing that. No, 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 no. I don't know, man. It's frustrating. It really is because I
And
really thought we were out of the rut.
we went on a 5-game winning streak with a ton of injuries as well, so it's like you said, it's so hard to explain what's going on these past 5 games,
Your
and it
backup quarterback can't finish a game at all.
seriously.
Doesn't matter who starts. So, we're going to have the human periscope probably take the field this Sunday. Oh, you guys didn't know that? Hey, listen,
Uh,
if he was in the Navy, their subs wouldn't need a periscope. Up Mike Glennon.
why well, let's talk about that real quick. Of all the quarterbacks to potentially bring in, why like, is there
What's
any
out?
connection with him and Mike McDaniel? Like, why Mike Glennon of all people?
I don't. He's also inaccurate. That's really what
Yeah, we
drives me crazy
destroyed him
about Mike
last
Glenn.
year.
He has a good arm, but he doesn't know where the hell it's going. I just think that they inquired with they didn't want to get another young guy.
Mm,
So what they went to go look at whoever are the veterans that are available. And then the guys that are available, are you in shape?
mm,
Oh, well, coach, I've been on the couch for the last 2 months drinking beer and hanging out with the family. No, I'm not in shape. Are you mentally? No, so I think they kind of settled for what they could get. And
mm,
Mike Glennon does have experience, has played in several games in the NFL. He's not very good. He's pretty mediocre as it is, but I just think, man, we're at the end of the season. There's nothing left. Oh, and here's the other thing. So let's just say this is the part that people don't think about because you have to think about these kind of things. Because, fans are just selfish. They just think about themselves. They don't care about the rest of the world. So you're a veteran quarterback that you've been retired for the entire season,
mm,
done for the whole year.
Mhm.
Now the Dolphins are calling you to go play the last game of the season for a team that has had a crap ton of injuries. And
Mhm.
I'm sure his agent's going to say, you do know every quarterback's gotten injured on that team, right? And so now he's saying, so do I come back to get paid for one game?
Mhm.
And then I might spend my entire next 6 months rehabbing an injury. And I'm 37, 38, 42, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
you also have to think about a veteran quarterback that's already made his money. He's
Mhm.
been relaxing with the family, and he's like, "Nah, dude, I'm not going out there for one game." And by the way, I don't want to make light of this. I'm not trying to make light of this. You're also doing it in the week where Damar Hamlin just went through, like, you know, so this is just like another reminder that you're 37, you're retired, your wife and kids. No, 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 you're not going back there for one game. We
Yeah.
don't need the money, sweetheart. We got
Mm.
enough money in the bank. You don't need to prove to anybody. No, that.
Mhm.
So then you've got the wife on your ass. Anybody
Mhm.
married? Anybody married? Anybody married?
Yeah.
Anybody out there? So you know what I'm talking about. So all these things are there in play, and you selfish. Oh, they could have gotten somebody better. Well, there's 1 week left. I doubt anybody better.
Yeah, no.
Really, Mike Glennon still has this thing that he wants to be in the NFL,
Mm.
even if it's a backup or whatever. So if he gets one chance in this game to play, it's a blessing for him because he still has the dream alive. The rest of those veteran quarterbacks that are older quarterbacks, they're like, thanks, but no thanks, dude. We're good.
Mm.
We're good. I don't need the $300,000 for the one game, and maybe I blow out my knee. And rehabbing at 38 or 39 or 42 is not really my idea of an offseason. So, it's you're kind of calling them to use them and dispose of them because
Yeah, pretty much.
they have no future with you. So,
No.
you got to understand the position that the Dolphins are in. You got to understand the position that whatever free agents are in out there.
Mm.
And if they're veteran free agents, there's not much to play for here. You know what I mean? If a
No.
half season was left and you're going to make $5 million, well, then, hey, honey, it's $5 million.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sweetheart, we can get that condo in the Alps. Yes, let's do that.
Looking at the upcoming game, do you still think the Dolphins are going to make the playoffs? Do you think they beat the Jets?
God, I told you I'm sticking to yes.
Glutton for punishment, aren't you?
I'm just gonna punish the crap out of myself. Just bam, 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 bam. It's just one of those Flintstones cartoons. Damn, damn, damn. Hit by the club. That's it. Yeah, yeah. I know the Jets defense is really
Good.
good.
Their offense is garbage.
But their offense is garbage. So I am hoping that you're home also.
Mhm.
You have everything to play for.
Mm.
They only have to play spoiler. Mike White is nothing.
No.
He's just a guy. You know what I mean? We get this stuff down here because he's from here. He's
Mhm.
from Pembroke Pines, and it's the same stuff we get with Teddy Bridgewater. And
Mhm.
when people signed Teddy Bridgewater, what did I say? Remember, I'm honest, dude. I said if it comes down to Teddy Bridgewater, the season's over. I told everybody. Okay, all right. It's Tua or nothing. And you've
Yeah.
noticed if it's Teddy, season's over.
Mhm.
Season's over. Okay. So a lot of the locals are fine because we had the idiots out there. Oh, Teddy's going to take Tua's job, and I'm like,
Yeah. Sean Payton
it's like
said it.
you know what it is. A Vikings fan won't say that.
Mhm.
A Panthers fan won't say that
Saints fan.
because they got to watch him every week and they
Mhm.
see how limited. Like I tried to explain to people, there's a year if you look it up, a couple years back, like 7 years ago. He had like 17 touchdowns and 14 interceptions or something, like his best year ever as a quarterback,
Mhm.
17 and 14. He couldn't average 2 touchdowns a game. He's never been able to average 2 touchdowns a game. On that team, they had a hell of a line. They had an Adrian Peterson that ran for almost 1,500 yards.
Mhm.
Okay. They had the Kyle Rudolph guy at tight end, and they had the guy from Buffalo, what's his name?
Oh,
Diggs,
Diggs.
Thielen, Mike Wallace was their third guy, and they might have had like a serviceable fourth guy. The team was loaded,
Mhm.
17 and 14. better offensive line, better running game, you know, help. I guess the tight end's better too because he fit their offense and they use him.
Mm-hmm.
Our guy, that's one of the little chinks in his armor. I don't care if you don't like Mike Gesicki and he doesn't perfectly fit. He's a playmaker, as you've
Yeah.
watched the last 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Find a way to use a playmaker. If you're an offensive genius, be an offensive genius. Don't be a hard-headed offensive genius, which is what I think he is a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times. And so those are the things that he has to grow. But, I told people, if it comes to Teddy, it's over. And
Mm-hmm.
I tried to explain to them, but you didn't watch him. And so the Mike White thing is the same thing here. Oh, yeah, watch him. And he
Mm-hmm.
had that first game. And after that, they've been pedestrian outings. They barely ever score a touchdown with
9
him.
points in the past 2 games.
I know, dude. I know. He's nothing. And by the way, the same thing happens down here with Lamar. And I know some of you probably still buy in Lamar. I don't know why. I get it, the flash and the running and all that,
Mm-hmm.
but when it comes to this, he's still not accurate, man. I mean, look at Josh Allen.
Mm.
Okay. Josh Allen still isn't accurate.
No.
Okay. He cannot beat you by staying totally in the pocket.
Mm.
That's why he has to run an ad lib. Okay. Because he's not deadly accurate from the pocket. You saw in that game the other night. They settled for a field goal. Why? Because he missed a wide open guy for a touchdown.
Even
You know
against the
what I mean?
Dolphins.
And I guess he does it all. If you watch the
Mm-hmm.
games, he does it all the time. But he's so special because he also has, guts of steel.
Mm-hmm.
He'll run the ball and he will make big throws in big moments.
Yeah.
That's what you have to give Josh Allen. You know what I mean? And so then when you watch the other kid that's locally from here, Lamar, he misses people all the time. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why it's a running offense. But whatever, because I mentioned it because I'm sure you're getting it too. We got parts of Dolphin A. Oh, let's go get Lamar. Like, that's not the answer.
When it comes to getting quarterbacks like Lamar, Michael Vick, like these styles of quarterbacks, Omar brought it up a bunch of times. It worries the crap out of me because they're not going to have long careers. I prefer to have the Aaron Rodgers. I prefer to have the Peyton Manning, the Tom Brady's, the Dan Marinos. They're going to stay in the pocket. They're not going
Props
to
to Hurts. Jalen is pulling away from that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I know he's been out the last couple of weeks, but if you watch Jalen, he's gotten better with his accuracy.
Yeah.
So props to Jalen Hurts on that one because he's distancing himself from that. Because if not, like Justin Fields is going to end up just like Lamar. You're going to end up injured because if you rely on your legs, you're going to get beaten down no matter who. And that's the other thing that, I'm not a Bills fan and I don't root for the Bills,
Mm-hmm.
but I find it incredibly stupid that Josh Allen runs as much as he does. But he's luckily that he's built like a tree trunk, so he's going to be able to take a punishment for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
And then eventually you will break down because the league is too brutal, man.
The back in the day, which was your heyday, the defense was more. They let the defense play a little bit more. They would let you, I watched film from the 80s and the 70s where they would tackle you by your face mask. There's no flag. Like your quarterback,
they played right through that whistle, bro.
If your quarterback and the D end is coming around and he can grab you by your face mask, he's going to grab you by your face mask. There's no penalties. Yeah. Now you tap a quarterback on the helmet, unnecessary roughness. So
I mean, the Phillips call was just ridiculous a couple
weeks
ago with Herbert.
You can't land on him now. You gotta make sure you
kiss him. He broke the landing in that one.
He put his hands down.
Sure. Yeah. He did. That was like textbook.
Seriously.
Competition committee should use it as textbook on how to tackle a quarterback, not a penalty. But whatever.
Let's talk. There's one last thing I want to talk to you about, and it's going to be a fantastic conversation. Hot seat. Do you see anybody on the hot seat on the Miami Dolphins right now?
Assistant coaches have to be on the hot seat because he inherited him. I don't believe Boyer should be fired. But he did inherit both coaches because he didn't have time to build an entire staff. So you have to figure. I don't believe the Salguero report that Mike, if that's what you're kind of,
I was tiptoeing around that. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're dancing around that, I don't believe the Salguero report. I know Salguero for 30 years.
Mm,
Okay. Love Salguero, good dude. But I disagree with him, and I can
mm,
disagree with him many, many times. Now, here's the thing. That's a really easy article to write
mm.
because you could easily say everybody could be on the hot seat, and you'll never be wrong.
Yeah.
You could easily say that Stephen Ross could fire them. That's what it says. Or maybe he could hang on to them.
Mhm.
There is no definitive statement in that article whatsoever. It's covering your ass one way and covering your ass on the other way. Okay? There is no definitive report. Could happen, might happen. So if it doesn't, he can say, well, I said it could have happened.
Yeah.
And I also said he could have stayed with everybody. And I also say that if they win, well, maybe he doesn't look like it, like it's falling apart. It was just a bad skid, a bad time, whatever. It's
Mhm.
that. So all of that stuff is an article that has so many gray areas in it. I found it humorous, you know what I mean? But
Mm,
it fills space and it gets people talking. And so kudos to Armando. He got him talking. But overall, the reality, I
mm.
believe, should be that no one's on the hot seat except maybe Danny Crossman. I
Okay.
wouldn't
Yeah.
make changes right now. I would not make changes because how did I start this interview?
Mm,
I just believe that they got pounded with the worst luck. Now, there is one problem that you do have,
mm.
and that's Tua Tagovailoa. That's
Yeah.
the one that Chris Greer can't dance around, Mike McDaniel can't dance around, Stephen Ross can't dance around. They've got to talk about that because unfortunately, you've got to come back with a better plan B than
Mhm.
Teddy B.
Mhm.
And so that's very important that if you're going forward with Tua, that's fine. I don't have a problem with giving him one more year. He's under contract anyway. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's stupid to take a cap hit for no reason at all. And he can play.
Yeah.
But you've got to sit down with him and you've got to tell him, dude, you can only play one way.
Yeah.
And you can't play like Pat Mahomes and you can't play like Josh Allen. You need to play like Drew Brees.
Mhm.
You need to make your decision in the pocket quickly and move on.
Mhm.
Okay. In that same game where he got injured, prior to that, he held on to the damn ball again and he fumbled, and Rob Hunt had to go recover it. And
Mhm.
why? Because you hung on. And
Mhm.
I've been telling you guys all season, his problems come from hanging on to the football.
Yeah.
And he has to learn that he cannot play that way.
Mm.
And his biggest problem, by the way, is what everybody thought he isn't. It was a
Mhm.
complete lie. He
Mhm.
doesn't go home and hang out with his family and play his ukulele and hang out with his wife and hang out with his kid, and he tunes out the world. That's crap.
Mhm.
He hears you that you don't have an arm. He hears you that you say he's too short. He
Mhm.
hears you that you say you're too fragile. He hears you that you can't have a high-powered offense. He hears every damn thing. And he
Yeah.
admitted it to Maria Taylor that he's taken receipts. And I was telling before that interview, I was telling people for weeks on the show because I heard it from inside the building that he does listen to all
Mhm.
that stuff. He's got to really tune us out.
Mhm.
And he needs to play the game the way he needs to play it.
Mhm.
He cannot look at what some other guy does and say, "Oh, I can do it too." Tom Brady doesn't take hits. Tom Brady makes quick decisions. Dan Marino rarely took hits. If he took a hit, it's because it's the regular hit that you're waiting for the pass, and you got to throw it a second. And here comes a guy, and you know he's coming. That's part of the game. You got to take those hits. But he never stood back there in the pocket for 4 or 5 seconds waiting.
No.
Marino would never do that. He would
No.
get rid of the football. Drew Brees wasn't going to hang around for 5 seconds, and he wasn't going to try to outrun you. And that's the thing that Tua Tagovailoa has to understand. Dude, you're the Hawaiian Baker Mayfield.
Mhm.
You're unathletic.
Mhm.
You can't move. You barely move. You have enough to roll out and do a boot or whatever, but you're not the guy that's going to scramble and get away from people and dodge people. They're going to catch you like they did. And that tackle was a normal tackle in the
Yeah.
NFL. And so since you have to understand who you are, and it's not demeaning, it's not something that the guy can have a 15-year career here and win a title or two. But he's got to learn to play the game the right way, the way he needs to play in order to survive. So Miami has to plan, if you're going to bring him back, whoever the backup is, it can't be Skyler.
No.
You can keep
He's not
developing
ready.
Skyler as your third quarterback, but you have to go out and get somebody that's pretty established that is willing to, help you out and buy. You might have to overpay a little bit for that insurance policy, but you got to have it. And by the way, please, Garoppolo is actually worse than Tua. Just to remind anybody, because I get all, hey, no, they should get Jimmy G. Do the math. Jimmy G misses way more games than Tua. Like way more games than Tua.
It'd be the same thing all over again.
It'd be worse.
Yeah.
He actually misses more games than Tua. That's how crazy it is. So, it's just that's the problem that they have now. Because if Tua comes back and figures it out and plays the way he's supposed to, you can have a great season and you'll never use the guy. But if he continues to be that warrior mentality of his, when, unfortunately, dude, you're not built like Conan. Sorry, bro. And so if he keeps doing that, then you're in trouble and you're going to have somebody better, because your offense and your team is good enough to get into the playoffs right now. But you got to have the right quarterback. And unfortunately, those guys right now, it's not Skyler's fault. Skyler's a 7th-round pick.
No, he's raw. He's super raw.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Skyler. This is good for him. The playing time is good, but Teddy's not the answer. You have to get something way better than Teddy for next year if you're going to do this.
And it's funny too, because for one, both of his concussion plays, there were people open, and he didn't have to take off. Well, the Saints one, he had like 9 days to throw the ball. He needed to do better. He also needs to figure out. It seems like when he's gotten concussed, it's him trying to like do something with his body to like make a play, and then he like torques and hits his head. But you hit the nail on the head with his play, right? Even with him being injured and missing it's now going to be 5 games, and even with 3 out of those 4 games not being great, he is 7th in touchdowns, 1st in yards per completion, 1st in yards per attempt, 1st in passer rating, 4th in QBR, and 5th in passing yards per game.
No, but let's get rid of him, because of course, we crap quarterbacks here in Miami. We get them all the time. Every year we draft them. Every 4 years, you need one, we produce them all the time. Yeah, we got a machine here in Miami. Yeah, it's Willy Wonka had the everlasting gobstopper machine. We have the everlasting quarterback machine, and so Marino, all the other all pro quarterbacks we had after Marino, right? Gus Farad and Jay Fiedler,
Julio Lemon,
man, Pat White, John Beck. I mean, we're loaded.
John Beck.
I love the Dolphin fan that just says, "Oh, we got to get rid of him." Hey, he sucks. Yeah, no, of course, because we got quarterbacks all the time that play like that. I mean, come on, man. It's just crazy. I just want him to learn how he needs to play the game.
Yeah, 100%.
That's if he does that, man. You got a quarterback.
And Tua has very good pocket presence and pocket awareness. Yes. He knows when to step up. He knows when to everyone looks. I remember a while back on NFL Network, they had the most mobile quarterbacks listing, top 10. This was like maybe about like 5, 6, 7 years ago. Then Marino on there. And not because Marino is going to burn you like Michael Vick. Bruce Smith even came out and said there were so many times I was about to sack that man, and he would just step up or step back or step. You got to just know like you said, know your limitations, stay in the pocket, move, because that's what Skylar Thompson wasn't doing last week. He'd have a big bunch of room in front of him. He would try to spin out and run when he just step up. You just got to step up. You had guys open. So,
yeah, but he's still learning more.
Yeah, he's still super
Tua's mind was already advanced
Mm-hmm.
in high school, going to college, and then college going to the NFL. He was already more advanced to go to the next level than your average guy because he lacks the the athleticism that some of those other guys, it's
Mhm.
forced him to become a better pocket passer, anticipatory guy,
Mm.
and ball placement, all those kind of things. That's why he excels at all of that.
Mhm.
But then he tries to be the guy he isn't, and that's where he gets in trouble. And it's what you said. You step into the pocket. There isn't a guy. Well, bro, throw it at somebody's legs or throw it out of
Mhm.
bounds.
Exactly.
That's the next step. Live for the next. He's got to have a demeanor that he's got to be willing to throw the play away when it's not happening, because it's more important to keep you on the field healthy. Because we all know that if you're able to finish all the games that you've missed, they would already be in the playoffs, because you would have won at least one or two of those easily. So it's just I wish he takes a step back and becomes a little bit more realistic about who
Mhm.
he is, what he can be, because he can be great, but he has to be great within the confines of his
Yeah, his
talent.
parameters, yeah. One last thing I wanna ask you too, because you bringing that up about stepping up and throwing the ball away, essentially living to play another down. I just thought of this. Do you think it's the fact that the defense was struggling so badly this year that he thought he needed to do more, like against the
Sure.
Bears, against the Lions, that he wouldn't
Run isn't working, defense isn't working.
I gotta
Yeah,
do it.
yeah, I got to do
Because
it. And then people, all the crap he hears from people all over the place. You're not this, you're not
Mhm.
that. And so, yeah, yeah. I mean, look at he can't throw the deep ball, and all we do is throw the deep ball more than everybody else.
Exactly, yeah.
He
And he
can't throw
doesn't
the
throw
deep
the
ball, but
checkdowns
yet he has
anymore
the
when he
highest
should.
percentage, the highest completion percentage of deep balls in the NFL. But no, he can't throw the deep ball. And there's a part of him and McDaniel almost that they force that a little too much too.
Yeah,
The
do
other
a
thing,
lot.
he has this dependency on Hill.
Mm,
And I don't know if it's Hill also in his ear or whatever it is, or maybe he's like he listens to all of us. Maybe he's listening to Hill too much. He's got to also spread the ball out,
mm.
because he's gotten in trouble over the year where he's thrown to Hill when there's too many people around
Yeah,
him. And that
yeah.
tells me that you're a bad mathematics teacher at that moment at the quarterback spot, because if there's too many around him, there has to be another guy or two that are wide open, and you're not finding those guys. You're making the more difficult throw, the throw that has the less opportunity of completion, instead of
Mhm.
going to somebody else and
Heck yeah.
just move the chains
Mhm.
and live for the next play. Every play doesn't have to be a chunk play either.
Mm-mm.
That was the beauty of Montana. That's the beauty of Brady. That's the beauty of Breeze.
They
That's the
take what's
beauty
given.
of Mahomes. Will do it too to you. Justin Herbert, by the way, I'm not a big Justin Herbert guy, but he plays the underneath game all the time. The San Francisco 49ers are not asking Purdy to go deep all the time. In fact, it's a very controlled passing game that they have for him
Mhm.
underneath. You got to do a little bit more of that, because all the greats were willing to kill you with that 3 and 5 yard pass. 3 and 5 yard pass. They didn't care. Oh, you're going to give me that? Here you go. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. I'm going to keep getting first downs on you. And I want to see a little bit more of that from McDaniel
Mm.
and Tua, because I have to blame McDaniel if Tua's doing it,
Yeah,
because his
gotta shut
job
that down. Yeah.
yeah, it's his job to get in his head in the film room, say, "Why'd you do this when this was open? That was open. What are you doing?
Mhm.
Stop looking to Hill every time and forcing it."
Mhm.
Okay, we know he's a great player. We know he can score a touchdown on every play, but let's move the chains. Let's keep it alive. And then McDaniel at the same time, when your running game is working, my man, keep running. Keep running. Don't abandon it. And then when you go back, it doesn't work the same. And it's, well, yeah, Stella doesn't have her groove anymore. Stella's got to get her groove. And so when Stella has her groove, stay with Stella.
And that was the thing that was working for a few drives against the Patriots, is because Teddy was dropping into Mostert, and Mostert would take it 30 yards, breaking tackles. So yeah, you hit the nail on the head. But Big O, next week, I'm hoping we talk more football, because if not,
I'm hoping we at least talk one more week, man. At
exactly,
least.
because if not, then
Even if I get it, I know what you're all saying out there. Well, hey, Doug, why do we
we're gonna
want to
get
make the
blown
playoffs?
out, and
We're going to
I just
face
want to
the
get better.
Bills, the Chiefs, or the Bengals, and we're not as good as they are. We're just going to get embarrassed. Okay, well, whatever, dude. But I'd rather
I just
make the
want to get in.
playoffs and have one more week of football.
Mhm.
They don't have a first round pick.
Nope.
They're not screwing up their first round pick. The owner already did that for you. So don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? Let's get one more week. And who knows what happens in that week, and crazier stuff has happened. I'm not telling you they're going to the Super Bowl. They're so injured right now, and there's all kinds of issues on the team. But can you sit there and root against your favorite team? I can never root against the Dolphins.
No.
I can tell you they might lose. I can tell you they're not very good. I can tell you I'm pissed off at this or that. But never in my life will I sit there and be rooting against any of my favorite teams. I cannot do that. That's not in my DNA. It's not.
Big O, how close are you getting to 20? I want to get you to 20K.
Oh no, we're far away, bro. We need help. We need help.
Gotta go over, guys.
17s, bro. We gotta go. Big O Radio Show on YouTube. Please subscribe. We'll be headed to the Senior Bowl at the end of the month. So we'll be out there all week covering the events of the Senior Bowl and talking to a lot of NFL people like we normally do. And then we'll go to the Combine also. So we'll give you some of the off-season coverage that you don't really get in a lot of places. So we will be doing that for you in Mobile, Alabama at the end of the month. So please subscribe. Big O Radio Show on all platforms, especially here on YouTube. Thank you.
Big O. I'll see you next week. Hopefully we talk more football and not reviewing the year.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope it's not draft talk already. You know what I mean? That's what our off season is going to be and all that stuff.
Pretty much.
Let's hope it's a little more football. All right, man. Y'all be good. Fins up.